The penthouse apartment in Manhattan was a disaster zone. Expensive furniture was overturned. Designer clothes were scattered across marble floors. Paintings hung crooked on the walls. And in the middle of all this chaos stood 17-year-old twin sisters, Emma and Olivia Sterling, laughing hysterically as they deliberately knocked over a vase that had cost more than most people's cars. Their father, billionaire James Sterling, stood in the doorway watching helplessly. James had built a massive real estate and investment empire worth over $50 billion. He could negotiate with world leaders. He could make decisions that affected millions of people. But he couldn't control his own daughters. "Girls," James said wearily, "please stop this. This is the third apartment this month." "Dad, relax," Emma said with a dismissive wave. "We're just having fun. You own like 10 penthouses anyway. Who cares if we wreck one?" Olivia laughed. "Besides, you're always working. You never have time for us. The least you can do is let us have fun with your money." James felt a familiar frustration wash over him. Emma and Olivia had grown up with everything: private schools, expensive clothes, luxury vacations, credit cards with unlimited limits. But nothing had made them happy. Nothing had taught them respect or responsibility or kindness. Money had given them everything except what they actually needed. Their mother, James's ex-wife Victoria, had spoiled them relentlessly. She believed that wealth meant never having to say no to your children. When James had tried to impose discipline, Victoria had undermined him. When he tried to set boundaries, she'd encouraged the girls to ignore them. Now, at 17 years old, Emma and Olivia were completely out of control. They'd been expelled from 3 different private schools for bullying other students and breaking school property. They'd been arrested twice for shoplifting designer items they didn't even want. They'd gone through 17 different nannies in the past year, each one quitting because the girls were impossible to manage. James had tried everything. He'd hired expensive therapists. He'd sent them to elite boarding schools. He'd even tried cutting off their allowance, but Victoria had secretly given them money to compensate. Nothing had worked. James sat down heavily on the remaining intact chair in the penthouse and made a decision that would change everything. He was going to hire someone who understood real discipline, someone who couldn't be swayed by money or status, someone who would refuse to enable the girls' behavior no matter what they threw at him. He was going to hire a single-dad janitor named Robertson. Robertson was 48 years old and had been working as a janitor at Sterling Industries for the past 8 years. He was a quiet, hard-working man who showed up every day at 4 a.m., cleaned the offices, and left by 8 a.m. to pick up his son Marcus from before care and take him to school. Robert's life hadn't always been this way. 20 years ago, he'd been a successful engineer working for a tech company. He'd had a good income, a nice house, and a promising future. But then his wife had gotten sick. She'd battled cancer for 3 years, and despite his insurance and their savings, the medical bills had been devastating. She died when Marcus was just 5 years old. After her death, Robert had struggled. The house had been foreclosed. His career had taken a backseat as he tried to raise his son alone. He'd moved to a small apartment in a working-class neighborhood. He'd taken the janitor job because it had flexible hours and allowed him to be present in Marcus's life. For 13 years, Robert had raised Marcus as a single father. It hadn't been easy. They'd lived paycheck to paycheck. They'd cut corners and made sacrifices. But Marcus had turned into an exceptional young man. He was kind, respectful, intelligent, and grateful. At 16 years old, Marcus was already taking college-level classes. He had a job working at a local restaurant on weekends. He helped his father around the apartment. He understood the value of hard work and gratitude. Robert's co-workers often commented on how well-adjusted Marcus was, considering his difficult childhood. They asked Robert what his secret was. Robert always gave the same answer. "I raised him with love, but also with clear boundaries and consequences. I showed him that life isn't about getting everything you want. Life is about doing the right thing even when it's hard." When James Sterling first approached Robert about coming to work at his apartment as a live-in disciplinarian for Emma and Olivia, Robert's immediate answer was no. "I'm not a nanny," Robert said. "I'm a janitor. I wouldn't know how to manage twin teenage girls." You would if you had my trust, James replied. I know you have a son. I've seen how he turned out. Respectful, hardworking, kind. I want you to help my daughters become like that. I'm offering you a salary of $200,000 a year, plus room and board for you and your son. All I ask is that you teach my daughters what they obviously haven't learned, that there are consequences for their actions. Robert thought about it carefully. The money would allow him to finish his engineering degree through online school, which he'd been wanting to do for years. It will allow Marcus to attend a better school. But most importantly, Robert understood that James was offering him a chance to help two young people who clearly needed help. I have conditions, Robert said. First, I report only to you, not to their mother. Second, if the girls don't like my methods, they don't get to decide I'm fired. You decide that. Third, I need full authority to set and enforce rules in this household. No exceptions. No overriding my decisions. James agreed to all the conditions without hesitation. He was desperate. Robert and Marcus moved into the guest house on James's estate within 2 weeks. On their first day, Robert called a family meeting with James, Emma, and Olivia. I'm Robert Chun, he said simply. I'm here to help you understand how to live as respectful, responsible people. This isn't going to be fun for you. I'm going to set rules, and I'm going to enforce consequences when you break those rules. Your father has given me complete authority in this household, which means you can't override my decisions by complaining to him or calling your mother. He paused, looking at both girls directly. Here's what's going to happen, Robert continued. You're going to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning and do your chores. Emma, you're cleaning the kitchen. Olivia, you're doing the laundry. You're going to have breakfast together as a family. You're going to complete your schoolwork. Yes, you're both going back to school, starting Monday at a regular public school, not a private school where daddy's money can pay for your mistakes. Emma started laughing. You can't actually make us. Stop talking, Robert interrupted calmly. If you interrupt me again, you lose your phone for a week. Second time, you lose it for a month. This isn't negotiable. Emma closed her mouth, shocked by his directness. The first week was a war. Emma and Olivia refused to wake up at 6 a.m. Robert turned off the breaker to their room until they got up. They refused to do chores. Robert told them they wouldn't eat until the chores were done. They tried to call their mother to complain. Robert disconnected the Wi-Fi and took their phones, just as he'd threatened. You can't do this. Olivia screamed at him. This is abuse. My mother will sue you. Call the police, Robert said calmly. Tell them that a man fed you 3 meals a day, gave you a safe place to sleep, and asked you to contribute to the household by doing basic chores. See how far that gets you. He wasn't cruel about it. He was matter of fact. He enforced consequences without anger, without yelling, without any emotional reaction. This was simply how things worked in Robert's household. There were rules. There were consequences. It wasn't personal. It wasn't punishment. It was just reality. By the end of the first week, Emma and Olivia were exhausted from fighting. They started doing their chores because the consequences of not doing them were worse than just doing them. They started eating the meals Robert prepared because they were actually hungry and he wouldn't cook anything else. The second week, they had to start at the public high school. Emma and Olivia were mortified. They'd been expelled from 3 private schools, and now they were being sent to a regular public school where nobody knew them or their family's wealth. But Robert prepared them for this too. You're going to introduce yourselves to your teachers, Robert said. You're going to sit down, shut up, and actually listen in class. You're going to treat your classmates with respect. And if I hear that you've bullied anyone, been rude to a teacher, or caused any problems, I will pick you up from school and we will have a conversation about your behavior. Understood? What if we refuse to go? Emma asked. Then you stay home and do schoolwork that I provide, Robert replied. But trust me, you'll find school more enjoyable than staying here with me all day. Emma and Olivia went to school, and something interesting happened. Without their money, without their privilege, without the protection of their father's wealth, they were just regular teenagers. And regular teenagers learn to function in the real world, or they struggled. In their first week at the public school, Emma accidentally bumped into another student and said, "Excuse me." The student said, "You're welcome," and they moved on. Emma realized she'd never had that simple human interaction in a private school where people were intimidated by her family's wealth. Olivia was assigned to work with 2 other girls on a group project. The girls didn't know who she was. They didn't care that her father was a billionaire. They just expected her to pull her weight on the project. When Olivia tried to delegate all the work to them, they simply excluded her from the project. She ended up with an F on that assignment. Robert didn't punish her for the F. He simply asked her what had happened and what she'd learned. "I learned that people don't care about my money," Olivia said bitterly. "They just expect me to do my own work." "Exactly," Robert said. "Welcome to the real world." Over the weeks, something subtle but powerful started to happen. Emma and Olivia started to engage with their schoolwork because they actually had to. They started to understand that their actions had real consequences. They started to develop real friendships with their classmates because they couldn't buy their way into relationships. And they started to respect Robert. It wasn't a quick transformation. There were still moments of defiance, moments of anger, moments when they tried to manipulate the system. But Robert remained consistent. He didn't waver. He didn't get frustrated. He simply enforced the rules and the consequences. 3 months into Robert's tenure, something remarkable happened. Emma was sitting at the dinner table with Robert and Marcus when she started crying. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm sorry for everything. I've been awful. I've been entitled and cruel and ungrateful. And I don't even know why I was like that. I had everything and I was miserable." Robert set down his fork and looked at her. "You were miserable because nobody told you no," Robert said gently. "You had no boundaries, no structure, no real consequences for your actions. Having unlimited money doesn't mean you have unlimited freedom. It actually often means you have less freedom because you never learn how to create your own meaning." Olivia was nodding. "I'm sorry too," she said quietly. "I've been thinking about it, and I realized that the friends I had before were all fake. They only liked me because of my money. My classmates at the public school are so much nicer. They actually care about me as a person." Marcus, Robert's son, was listening to all of this. After dinner, Emma approached him. "How do you do it?" Emma asked, "How do you stay grounded? Your dad makes a fraction of what our dad makes, but you're so much more. I don't know real than we are." Marcus thought about the question carefully. "I think it's because my dad made me understand that money isn't the goal," Marcus said. "The goal is to be a good person. The goal is to work hard, to help other people, to do the right thing. My dad showed me that through his actions, not through lectures." 6 months into Robert's time at the Sterling household, James called a meeting with his daughters and Robert. "I want to tell you that I'm proud of both of you," James said. "I've watched you change over these months. I've watched you grow into more responsible, kind people, and I have Robert to thank for that." He looked at Robert with genuine gratitude. "Robert has taught you something that all my money couldn't teach you," James continued. "He's taught you that real satisfaction comes from doing the right thing, from working hard, from treating people with respect. That's a lesson I should have taught you a long time ago." James cleared his throat. "I want to apologize to both of you. I've been an absent father. I've let your mother spoil you without setting proper boundaries. I've put my work ahead of actually being present in your lives. I'm going to change that." He paused, collecting his thoughts. "Starting today, I'm going to work with Robert to implement new rules in this household," James said. "I'm going to be more present. I'm going to take an interest in your lives. I'm going to help you become the kind of people I want to be proud of." Emma and Olivia exchanged glances. For the first time in their lives, they were seeing their father not as a source of money or status, but as an actual person who cared about them. Over the next year, the transformation continued. Emma and Olivia started a volunteer program at their high school. They worked with elementary school kids, helping them with homework and providing mentorship. Olivia started writing about her experiences on a blog, and her honest reflections about growing up wealthy but unhappy resonated with thousands of people. Emma decided she wanted to study social work in college. She wanted to help other young people from wealthy families who felt lost and disconnected. She told Robert that his teachings had inspired her. "I realized that having everything doesn't mean you're satisfied, Emma said. I want to help other people understand that earlier than I did. I want to help them avoid years of feeling empty the way I did. Olivia decided to study business ethics and corporate social responsibility. She wanted to help her father's company become more focused on making a positive impact in the world, not just making money. I want to change the way wealthy people think about their responsibilities, Olivia explained. I want to show them that helping other people isn't charity. It's the only way to actually build a meaningful life. But perhaps the most powerful transformation was in James himself. James started attending dinners at Robert's small apartment. He would sit at the humble table with Robert and Marcus, eating simple food and listening to stories about their life. He saw how Marcus had developed into an exceptional young man not because of money, but because Robert had taught him values and work ethic. James realized something profound. He realized that he'd been trying to show his daughters love through money, but what they actually needed was his time, his attention, and his willingness to set boundaries. One evening, James asked Robert if he could work full-time as a life coach of the family, expanding his role to help James himself. I want to understand how to be a better father, James said. I want to understand how to build a meaningful life that isn't just about making money. I think you could teach me that. Robert considered the offer. I'll do it, Robert said, but only if you're willing to actually change. It won't be comfortable. It will require you to examine your priorities and your values. I'm ready, James said. Over the next 2 years, Robert helped James transform his relationship with his daughters. Robert also helped James make significant changes in his business. James started implementing employee wellness programs. He raised wages for his lowest paid workers. He started donating 10% of his profits to charitable causes. He became more involved in his community. James also made changes in his personal life. He cut his work hours by 50% so he could spend more time with his daughters. He and Robert became genuine friends. James's relationship with his ex-wife Victoria improved as they worked together to support Emma and Olivia's development. 3 years after Robert had come to work for James Sterling, Emma and Olivia were thriving. Emma was in her second year at college studying social work. She maintained a 3.8 GPA and was also running a nonprofit program that she'd started, helping wealthy families navigate the challenges of privilege and develop healthy values. Olivia was also in her second year at college studying business ethics. She was writing papers that were being published in major business journals. She was also working with her father on implementing corporate social responsibility initiatives at Sterling Industries. Both girls were humble, kind, and genuinely grateful for the opportunities in their lives. They volunteered regularly. They were generous with their time and their resources. They'd become the kind of people James had always wanted them to be. Robert had used a stable income to complete his engineering degree online. He was now working as an engineer at Sterling Industries, having gone back to his original career field. Marcus was about to graduate from high school as valedictorian and had been accepted to his top choice university with a full scholarship. One day, Emma, Olivia, James, and Robert were sitting together in James's office. I want to offer you something, James said to Robert. I want to make you a partner in Sterling Industries. I want to give you 2% of the company. That would make you worth approximately $1 billion. Robert was shocked. He tried to refuse, but James was firm. You've done something incredible, James said. You've taught my daughters what money couldn't buy them. You've taught me what I should have learned years ago. You've shown me that the most important things in life have nothing to do with wealth. I want to honor that. Robert accepted the offer. But more importantly, he used his newfound wealth to establish an organization called the Chun Foundation, dedicated to helping single parents navigate the challenges of raising children alone while managing financial hardship. The foundation provided scholarships, job training, child care assistance, and mentorship to single parents in underserved communities. Within 5 years, the foundation had helped over 1,000 families. Robert wrote a book about his experience raising Marcus as a single father and about his work with Emma and Olivia. The book became a bestseller. Parents everywhere were reading about the importance of boundaries, consistent consequences, and building genuine relationships with children rather than trying to buy their love. One evening, Emma and Olivia were being interviewed on a national talk show about their volunteer work and their transformation from spoiled rich girls to compassionate, grounded young women. What changed everything for you? The interviewer asked. Robert Chun. Olivia said immediately, he came into our lives and refused to let us continue being awful human beings. He wasn't impressed by our money. He wasn't intimidated by our father. He just treated us like normal human beings who needed to learn responsibility and kindness. What was the most important lesson he taught you? The interviewer asked. Emma thought about the question carefully. He taught us that the world doesn't revolve around us, Emma said. He taught us that having money doesn't mean you're better than other people. He taught us that real happiness comes from helping other people and doing the right thing, not from buying things and avoiding consequences. She paused, looking at Olivia. He also taught us that our father loved us more than we understood, Emma continued. Our father was making mistakes because he didn't know any better, but he was willing to change once someone showed him a better way. That's been really important for our relationship. The interviewer asked Robert what advice he would give to other parents struggling with undisciplined children. Set clear boundaries, Robert said. Follow through with consequences. Show up consistently. And most importantly, make sure your child understands that you love them unconditionally, but that love includes discipline. Love isn't about giving your child everything they want. Love is about helping your child become the best version of themselves. He looked at James, Emma, and Olivia. I've learned that being a parent, whether it's your biological parent or someone who steps into that role, is about having the courage to do what's right, not what's easy, Robert continued. It's about being willing to set limits, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about showing people through your actions what it means to have integrity and to value hard work and kindness. Later that evening, the Sterling family, Robert, and Marcus sat together at dinner. Not in James's grand dining room, but in Robert's modest apartment. It had become their tradition every Sunday. They ate simple food prepared by Robert and Marcus. They talked about their week, their dreams, their challenges, and their growth. James looked around the table at the people he loved most, his daughters who become compassionate, grounded young women, Robert who taught them all so much, and Marcus, who represented what could happen when a parent refused to compromise on values and boundaries. Thank you, James said simply. Thank you for showing me what really matters. Robert smiled. You did the hard part, Robert said. I just showed you the path. You chose to walk it. That night, after dinner, Emma and Olivia helped Robert and Marcus clean up. It was a simple domestic task, but it represented something profound. It represented that no one in this group considered themselves above doing ordinary work. It represented that they valued each other and their relationship more than maintaining status or privilege. As they washed dishes together, Olivia said something that captured the entire journey. You know what's funny? 3 years ago, Emma and I would have had a meltdown at the idea of washing dishes in a small apartment. And now, this is my favorite part of the week. Being here with people we actually care about, doing real things together. This is happiness. Emma nodded in agreement. I used to think happiness was shopping, vacations, fancy parties, Emma said. But it's actually just this, real people doing real things together and actually caring about each other. James squeezed his daughter's shoulders, grateful for the transformation they'd all undergone. He understood now that the greatest gift he could give his daughters wasn't money or privilege. It was boundaries, consequences, and real love. Final call to action. If this story moved you, if it made you think about the importance of discipline, boundaries, and real love in raising children, then I need you to do something right now. Hit that like button. Share this video with someone. It could be a parent struggling with undisciplined children, someone working through family challenges, or simply someone who needs to be reminded that love includes boundaries. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss these stories about parenting, transformation, and what it really means to care for the people we love. Because here's the truth. Children need more than money and permission to do whatever they want. Children need boundaries. They need to understand that their actions have consequences. They need to see adults who maintain their values, even when it's uncomfortable. And they need to feel genuinely loved, not just indulged. If you're a parent struggling with a child who seems ungrateful or out of control, Please know that change is possible. It won't be easy. It won't be fast. But if you're willing to set clear boundaries and enforce consistent consequences, while also showing genuine love, your child can transform. It takes courage, but it's worth it. And if you're someone like Robert Chun, someone working a humble job while raising a child with strong values, please know that your work matters. The way you raise your child matters. The values you model matter. You're building the future through the young person you're raising. Leave a comment below and tell us, have you ever had someone help you understand the importance of boundaries and consequences? Have you ever had to set difficult limits with someone you loved? Have you seen a young person transform through discipline and care? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might inspire someone else to take action. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We release new stories every single week about real people who learn the importance of love combined with boundaries, who raise children with strong values, and who transform families through courage and consistency. We'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay consistent, and remember, true love includes boundaries and consequences. Thank you so much for watching.